Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive. Well, this one's been specially crafted for you, actually. Today we're diving into a topic that's been getting a lot of attention lately, and for good reason too. It's all about mental health in the workplace, specifically.
Yeah, it's definitely front and center these days.
It really is. And we've got some fascinating insights to unpack today, all from a really cool article by Morningscape Mindset Media. They're a platform, all about motivation and inspiration for a healthier and happier life. Kind of like what we try to do here at the Deep Dive too, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So to help us unpack these insights, I've got an expert with us today who can really shed some light on all the key takeaways and insights from this article.
Yeah, happy to be here, ready to dig in.
Awesome. So one of the first things the article does is define mental health. And it's not just about feeling happy all the time, is it? It's way more than that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's about how we think and how we feel, how we act, and how we handle stress, too.
You got it. And that's where it gets really interesting, because understanding this broader definition of mental health, it's essential for creating a truly supportive work environment. We're not just talking about slapping a Band-Aid on surface level issues, right? It's about building a culture that truly values mental well-being from the ground up.
Okay, so the article mentions this statistic. And I have to admit, it kind of blew me away when I first read it.
Okay, lay on me.
The World Health Organization estimates that, get this, $1 trillion, that's trillion with a T, is lost globally every year due to mental health issues. $1 trillion. I mean, that's just an insane amount of money.
Yeah, it's a truly staggering number. And it really highlights how significant this issue really is. I mean, think about it. You've got reduced productivity.
Yeah.
Because people just aren't functioning at their best, right? And then on top of that, you've got increased absenteeism, people needing to take time off work to manage their mental health.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then there's the healthcare expenses too, both for individuals and companies. It all adds up. And ultimately, it often leads to higher employee turnover, which costs businesses even more in the long run.
It's like this vicious cycle, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone involved when mental health isn't prioritized.
Okay, so we've talked about the bad news, but here's where things get really interesting. What happens when workplaces actually do make mental health a priority?
Well, the article highlights 4 key benefits: increased productivity, reduced absenteeism, enhanced employee retention, and, improved team dynamics.
Okay, hold on. That's a pretty impressive list of wins. Let's break those down a bit further.
Looks good.
Starting with increased productivity. I mean, who doesn't want that, right?
Right. And it just makes sense, right? When employees feel supported and their mental well-being is valued, they're naturally more engaged, focused, and motivated. It's not about pushing people to work harder, It's about creating an environment where they can truly thrive.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, I mean, let's be real. We've all had those days where stress or anxiety just kept us home from work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's where reduced absenteeism comes into play. A supportive work environment can really help to reduce stress-related illnesses.
Yeah.
And it can also create a culture where, employees feel comfortable taking time off when they actually need it, which can prevent small issues from escalating into bigger problems down the road.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, it makes sense that when people feel valued and supported, they're more likely to stick around.
Exactly. Enhanced employee retention is a huge plus for any organization. It saves money on recruitment and training, and it just creates a sense of stability and continuity within teams.
Which then leads to the 4th benefit, improved team dynamics.
Oh, for sure.
It's like a domino effect.
It is. It really is. When people feel comfortable being themselves and know they can rely on their colleagues, communication flows more easily, collaboration becomes more natural, and there's just this greater sense of trust and camaraderie. It creates this positive feedback loop where everyone benefits.
So we've talked about why prioritizing mental health is so important, but the how is equally important. The article outlines 5 key strategies for building a supportive workplace.
Yeah.
And the first one is promoting open communication, which, seems like a no-brainer.
It does. It really does. But it's often easier said than done. It's about creating a culture where employees feel safe talking about their mental health without fear of judgment or stigma. And that can be a big hurdle for some people, especially in workplaces where there's, a history of silence around these issues.
Yeah, that makes sense. The article suggests things like regular check-ins between managers and employees, which seems like a good starting point. But what about folks who might not feel comfortable talking directly to their manager? I know I've definitely been there.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point. That's where anonymous feedback channels can be incredibly valuable. They provide a way for employees to voice concerns or share suggestions without having to put their name on it. It allows people to, speak their truth without fear of repercussions, and it can be a great way for organizations to get a pulse on what's really going on.
Okay. And the article also mentions mental health awareness campaigns, which is kind of about breaking down the stigma around mental health, right? It's about letting people know that it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. Education is key here. Workshops, seminars, guest speakers, all of those things can help to normalize conversations about mental health and can give people the knowledge and resources they need to support themselves and each other.
Right.
And it's not just about talking, right? It's about providing tangible support. And that's where the second strategy comes in, providing access to resources.
Right, because you can talk all you want, but if there's no actual help available, what's the point? So the article mentions employee assistance programs, or EAPs for short.
EAPs are fantastic resources. They provide confidential counseling and support services for employees dealing with work-related stress, personal challenges, you name it. They can be a lifeline for people who are struggling and might not know where to turn.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of those. But honestly, sometimes what you really need is just a break. Like a real break, not just a vacation day,
I couldn't agree more. And that's where mental health days come in. And it's more than just taking a day off, right? It's about recognizing that mental health is just as important as physical health. And we all need time to recharge and prevent burnout.
Totally. The article also mentions wellness programs like yoga classes, mindfulness exercises, even fitness challenges.
Yeah, those can be great additions to a workplace wellness strategy. They encourage employees to, take care of themselves holistically, and they can be a fun way to build community and camaraderie. Plus, there's growing evidence that these kinds of programs can positively impact mental well-being. They can reduce stress and improve overall mood.
That makes sense. So strategy number 3 is fostering a positive work culture, which sounds great in theory, but I imagine it's a lot harder to actually put into practice.
It can be tricky, but it's so important. We're talking about creating an environment where people feel valued and respected and supported.
Yeah. The article talks about recognizing achievements, even small ones, as a way to boost morale.
Simple, but effective. Acknowledging hard work and celebrating successes, no matter how big or small, it goes a long way in creating a positive and motivating work environment. And it doesn't have to be a grand gesture or anything. Sometimes a simple thank you or a great job can make all the difference.
Yeah. Encouraging work-life balance is another big one. We're all guilty of overworking sometimes, but it's just not sustainable in the long run.
It's a recipe for burnout, that's for sure. Flexible work arrangements, remote work options, reasonable workloads. These are all things that can help employees maintain a healthier balance between their work and personal lives.
Right. And ultimately, it all comes down to leadership, right?
Yeah.
The article really emphasizes how crucial a supportive leadership team is.
Oh, absolutely. Leaders set the tone for the entire organization. They need to be equipped to recognize signs of mental health struggles, support their team members effectively, and most importantly, create a safe space for open and honest dialogue.
So training for managers is like a must-have.
It's not optional. Investing in training on mental health awareness and support strategies. It's one of the most impactful things an organization can do to cultivate a mentally healthy workplace. It equips leaders with the knowledge and tools they need to effectively support their teams and create a culture of well-being.
Okay, on to strategy number 4. Peer support. The idea that we can lean on each other, share experiences, offer encouragement, that human connection piece.
Peer support can be incredibly powerful. It normalizes struggles, reduces feelings of isolation, and fosters a sense of community. Mentorship programs are a great example. They provide structured support and guidance from someone with more experience.
Yeah. Support groups are another great option, I think. Creating a safe space for sharing.
And even simple things like team building activities can help to strengthen bonds between colleagues and foster a more supportive work environment.
Okay, final strategy, implementing mental health policies. This feels a bit more formal, a bit more corporate, but I guess it's about having clear guidelines in place, right?
Exactly. A comprehensive mental health policy sends a clear message that employee well-being is a top priority. It outlines the organization's commitment to supporting mental health, details available resources, and establishes procedures for addressing mental health concerns. It's about putting it in writing and backing it up with action.
Okay. The article also mentions crisis management plans.
Yeah, those are crucial. It's about having a clear protocol in place For addressing mental health crises, employees need to know where to turn for help if they're struggling. And everyone needs to be aware of the resources and procedures available in case of an emergency. It's about being prepared and proactive.
And of course, these policies need to be reviewed and updated regularly, right? What works today might not work tomorrow.
Exactly. The workplace is constantly evolving, and so are mental health needs. Regular reviews ensure that the organization is staying ahead of the curve and is providing the best possible support for its employees.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground already. But before we move on, I want to highlight something that really stood out to me in the article. It's not just about what the company does, but also about individual responsibility. It takes two to tango, right?
Absolutely. That's such a crucial point. Ultimately, everyone has a role to play. In fostering a supportive and healthy workplace, it's a shared responsibility.
So self-care is essential, even at work.
Absolutely. The article suggests things like mindfulness practices, setting boundaries between work and personal life, and seeking support when needed.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all responsible for our own well-being. Even within a supportive work environment, we need to be proactive and take steps to manage our own mental health.
I like that. It's about finding that balance between organizational efforts and individual responsibility. When both sides are working together, that's when we create a truly supportive and healthy workplace where everyone can thrive.
Exactly.
This deep dive is already packed with insights, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there's more to come. We'll be right back. After a quick message from Morningscape Mindset Media, the source of this insightful article, they've got a treasure trove of content on mental health, well-being, and just living your best life. So be sure to check them out. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into mental health in the workplace. So stay tuned.
Welcome back. You know, it's really fascinating how this article seamlessly blends organizational strategies with individual responsibility. It's not just about companies creating policies and procedures, It's also about empowering individuals to prioritize their own well-being.
Yeah, totally. And speaking of empowerment, the article really dives into the role of leadership in all of this. It's not enough to just talk the talk. Leaders have walk the walk, right?
Absolutely. Leading by example is crucial. When leaders actually prioritize their own mental health and are open about their experiences, it sends a powerful message to the whole organization. It normalizes these conversations, and it shows that vulnerability can actually be a strength.
I love that. It's about creating a safe space for everyone to be authentic and bring their whole selves to work.
Exactly. And that's where investing in training for leaders is so important. They need the knowledge and the skills to recognize signs of mental distress, to have those difficult conversations, and to guide their teams effectively.
Right. It's like giving them the tools to be mental health advocates within their teams.
Precisely. And creating a safe space for dialogue. It's paramount. Leaders need to foster an environment where employees feel comfortable speaking up about their mental health without fear of judgment or repercussions.
It's about building trust and showing employees that their well-being is a genuine priority.
You got it. And when leaders show that genuine care and concern, it creates a ripple effect throughout the organization.
So it's not just about ticking boxes with policies and procedures. It's about creating a culture where mental health is truly valued and supported from the top down.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about weaving mental well-being into the fabric of the workplace culture.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on the organizational side of things. But what about the individual? What can we do to take care of our own mental health, especially in the middle of, a demanding work environment?
That's where the article's emphasis on self-care comes in. It's about each of us taking ownership of our well-being and developing healthy coping strategies.
And it starts with mindfulness, right?
Mindfulness is incredibly powerful for managing stress and improving overall well-being. It's about being present in the moment, paying attention to our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and becoming more aware of what's happening inside us.
It sounds a bit, esoteric. But I've heard so many people say amazing things about meditation and mindfulness.
They really can be life-changing. Even just a few minutes of mindful breathing or meditation each day can make a world of difference. It helps to calm the mind, reduce anxiety, and cultivate a sense of inner peace.
And it's not just about formal meditation, is it?
Oh, definitely not.
There are other ways to, be mindful throughout the day.
Absolutely. It could be something as simple as taking a few mindful moments to truly enjoy your morning coffee, or paying attention to how your feet feel on the ground as you walk, or consciously focusing on your breath during a stressful meeting, for example. It's about bringing awareness to the present moment, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I like that. Finding those little pockets of peace in the day.
Exactly. And setting boundaries is another crucial aspect of self-care. In today's always connected world, it's so easy to blur the lines between work and personal life.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm constantly checking emails and Slack messages, even when I'm supposed to be off the clock.
It's a common struggle, but setting clear boundaries between work time and personal time, it's essential for preventing burnout and protecting our mental health.
So it's about setting clear expectations with colleagues and clients, limiting after-hours communication, and just making time for ourselves, to unwind and recharge.
Exactly. It's about respecting our own time and energy and creating a healthy separation between our professional and personal lives.
Yeah. And sometimes, no matter how much we try, we just need a little extra support, right?
Absolutely. There's no shame in reaching out for help when we need it, whether it's talking to a trusted friend or family member, seeking professional guidance from a therapist or counselor, or utilizing resources like employee assistance programs. Seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Right. It's about recognizing that we don't have to go through challenges alone. There are people and resources available to help us navigate those tough times.
And that's a beautiful thing. Human connection and support are so essential for our well-being, especially when we're facing challenges.
So it's about creating a culture where seeking support is encouraged and normalized, both within organizations and in our personal lives.
I couldn't agree more. It's about fostering a sense of community where we can all lean on each other and support one another's well-being.
This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. It's amazing how much ground we've covered, from organizational strategies to individual self-care practices.
It really is. It's a testament to how multifaceted the topic of mental health in the workplace is. It's not just one thing, right? It's a complex interplay of factors that require a holistic approach.
And it all circles back to the importance of creating a culture of support, both within organizations and in our personal lives.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that mental health is everyone's business, and we all have a role to play in fostering well-being.
And remember, all of this insightful information stems from an article we've been discussing from Morningscape Mindset Media, a fantastic resource for motivation, inspiration, and well-being.
Be sure to check out their website for more amazing content like this.
It's amazing how practical and inspiring this article from Morningscape Mindset Media is, They give us these real strategies we can use, but they also remind us why this all matters, why taking care of our mental health is important for everyone, not just for individuals.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not just about the tools and strategies, but also the bigger picture. Why prioritizing mental health is so essential for both individuals and for us all collectively.
And they included a whole section just for leaders. I thought that was really smart.
No, absolutely. It's crucial, actually. Leaders have such a huge impact on the culture and the environment of their workplaces. I mean, they really do set the tone for everything. Actions speak louder than words. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the key takeaways for leaders from this article?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, it's about leading by example. When leaders actually prioritize their own mental health and are open about their own experiences, it creates a culture where others feel safe doing the same. It helps break down the stigma and encourages authenticity.
Right. It's like saying it's okay to not be okay. And it shows that vulnerability can actually be a strength.
Exactly. And that goes hand in hand with creating a safe space for open dialogue. Leaders need to make it clear that they're approachable, that they genuinely care about their team's well-being, and that employees can come to them with concerns without fear of judgment or repercussions.
So being a good listener is key.
Oh, absolutely. Leaders need to be skilled listeners. They need to create an environment where employees feel heard and understood and supported. It's all about fostering trust and showing that you truly care.
Yeah. The article also talked about investing in training for leaders, which, makes a lot of sense.
It's not just a nice to have, it's essential. Leaders need to be equipped with the knowledge and skills to recognize signs of mental health struggles, to have those difficult conversations, and to guide their teams effectively. It's about empowering them to be mental health advocates within their organizations.
Okay, so it's about giving them the tools and resources they need to really support their teams.
Precisely. And that includes things like knowing where to find additional resources, how to access employee assistance programs, and how to connect employees with mental health professionals if needed.
So it's like creating this whole network of support within the workplace.
Exactly. And that network, it extends beyond the leadership team, too. The article highlights the importance of peer support as well.
Right, because sometimes it's easier to talk to a colleague who might be going through similar experiences.
Absolutely. Peer support can be incredibly powerful. Mentorship programs, support groups, team building activities. These all foster a sense of community and create safe spaces for people to connect and share.
Yeah, it's about creating a culture where people feel comfortable leaning on each other and offering support.
And that's something we can all contribute to, regardless of our position within an organization. We can all be there for our colleagues, offer a listening ear, and show compassion and understanding.
I really love that this deep dive has highlighted how important both individual and collective efforts are when it comes to mental health in the workplace.
It really is a shared responsibility. Organizations need to create supportive environments, leaders need to set the tone and provide resources, and individuals need to prioritize their own well-being and seek support when needed.
And let's not forget, this entire deep dive was inspired by an article from Morningscape Mindset Media, a fantastic resource for all things motivation, inspiration, and well-being.
Be sure to check out their website, everyone, for more insightful and motivational content on mental health, well-being, and creating a life you love.
So as we wrap up this episode, we want to leave you with a final thought. What small step can you take today to make a positive difference in your own life or the lives of those around you? Whether it's practicing mindfulness, setting healthy boundaries, reaching out for support, or simply offering a kind word to a colleague you know, every little bit counts. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. And for more deep dives on topics that matter, be sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening.